Hello and welcome and vanakkam, Nergale. This is your host Venky with today's edition of Southern Spice, the only Tamil program on FM and AM radio in the New York, New Jersey region. So we are also live on Radio Zindagi on 1310 AM in Parsippany, 96.7 FM in Edison, and 540 AM in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube through the Southern Spice USA channels and also Radio Zindagi Tristate channel. So please participate and put your comments, questions, everything on the comment feed, and I will answer your questions. So இன்னைக்கு Southern Spice நிகழ்ச்சியில இன்னைக்கும் பண்ற மாதிரி we have a guest, but before going into introducing the guest, as always உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் uh, I have been supporting this charity called Punarjanmam, which I'm also a part of. Tickerla ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு punarjanmam.org. We have been collecting donations to support people who are struggling during the COVID lockdown in India. And we've helped a lot of families by giving them groceries, medicines, and help with hospitalization if needed, and also with oxygen concentrators and so on and so forth. All the donations that have come so far have been put to really good use. And if you would like to donate, you can zell us through 347-674-6737, or you could PayPal us via the email address info@punarjanam.org, and we will be really thankful to you. So on that note, நேர்களே, இன்னைக்கு Southern Spice தமிழ் நிகழ்ச்சியில நம்ம யாரை பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னாக்க, we have a person who is a career counselor, a life coach, and a person who works with youngsters, primarily teenagers, and helps them gain life skills essentially. So her name is Jothsna Kethar, and her students call her Coach Joe. So let's put our hands together and welcome Coach Joe to our show. Vanakkam, Joe. Welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having me here.
Great to have you. Very good to have you, Joe, and thanks for taking the time to join us. இன்னைக்கு Southern Spiceல வந்து நான் Facebookல ஆல்ரெடி போஸ்ட் பண்ணும்போது there was a lot of people who showed interest in the topic. ஏன்னா ஏகப்பட்ட questions, the especially immigrant parents who did not go to college in America, அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த அமெரிக்கன் காலேஜ் சிஸ்டமே வந்து அவ்வளோ பரிச்சயம் கிடையாது. They're not too familiar with it. ஸோ சிக்ஸ்த் கிரேட்ல வந்து ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கணுமா, இல்லை பசங்க நைன்த் கிரேட்ல ஆரம்பிக்கணுமா, இல்லை கிண்டர் கார்டன்லயே ஆரம்பிக்கணுமா, இல்லை கருவில் இருக்கும் போதே ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றதா அப்படின்னு ஏகப்பட்ட கேள்விகள். அப்புறம் வந்து இப்போ பார்த்தா எஸ்ஏடி பெட்டரா, ஏசிடி பெட்டரா, அப்புறம் எஸ்ஏ ரைட்டிங்க்கு ஏதாவது பூட் கேம்ப் இருக்கு, அது மாதிரி ஏகப்பட்ட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வந்து எனக்கு லாஸ்ட் 1 வீக்கா வந்துட்டே இருக்கு. And I said எல்லாத்துக்குமே நம்ம கோச் ஜோ கிட்ட தான் ஆன்சர் இருக்கும். So let's go to Coach Joe. So thanks for joining, and tell us when did you start doing this, and how did you come about to do this very important aspect?
Yeah. So basically, I've been in the corporate world like forever, like ever since I got out of college and everything. But I was not really living my passion, or uncomfortable. Something was going on in my life where I was not living my life's purpose. I mean, finding out my life's purpose was one of the turning points as well. And that's when I discovered that I just simply loved working with teens, or Gen Z. Gen Z is anybody who's been born after 1995, right? So I took special interest in them. I started small. I started conducting communication classes, leadership classes for them. And I really liked it. And one final day, I decided that I wanted to pursue it. I had a lot of doubts in my head. I mean, I make a pretty good cushy salary with wonderful benefits, 6 weeks of paid vacation, right? But I wasn't happy. I mean, it's like, you don't live your life's purpose, then it's sort of unfulfilled, right? So that's when my husband said, hey, when you're 80 and you're in a rocking chair, you don't want to regret that you didn't do it, right? So I took the leap. I left my wonderful job as a cloud architect in Vanguard, and I went deep into it. But I've been in this for more than 4 to 5 years, right? And it grew, right? And I'm living the time of my life because that's what I love to do, is working with teens and helping them discover themselves and maximizing their potential, right? So it's a lot of research that I've done working with teens specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what my whole company is about, right? So it's not about making a quick buck or making tons of money. It's like following my passion. I just create whatever course I want to, or whatever will help teens as such, right? And that involved doing a lot of research. I'm also pursuing my research in psychology of Gen Z teens and their productivity. So productivity in teens was something that I was very curious about, and I dug deep, and that's where I am right now. So I went. So that's how I started. I am a life coach with Tony Robbins. So I apply some of his teachings in my coaching program.
Oh,
Then
nice.
I've worked under Peg Dawson. She's a leading psychologist for executive functioning. And I had to like really discover and understand about teens, right? So I also do executive functioning coaching, which is the prefrontal cortex of the brain. That is where all your time management, planning, organization, everything is there. And that's still in a formative stage in teens, right? But unfortunately, they have to use those skills to succeed. And it's still developing, right? And I see the amount of pressure on teens. They have to like deliver. It's like a whole project management. Their whole life is like that. They have to do well in school, get stellar grades, get good standardized test results, land in a fantastic college, extracurricular activities. I mean, it's like unbelievable amount of pressure that these teens have, right? In the corporate world, you have a project manager, you have agile, you have this, you have that, project management. What do these kids have, right? But they're expected to be performing right there, right? It's like you've just made them drop off a plane with yes, they have a parachute, but they have no clue where to go and how to go about it, right? And that was what was most concerning to me, right? So children, teens are sponges, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
Right? With proper guidance, all
Correct.
guidance in the right direction, and also like help them discover their strengths and weaknesses. That is what I focus my whole coaching or my whole business on. The child is the focus.
Okay.
I tell the teens that, hey, your parents paid for me, but guess what? I work for you. Right? So that is what I coach kids. I coach teens to be the CEO of their lives. I'm like, hey, dude, you got to make executive decisions of your life, and I'm like a consultant. Right? So how do you want to run your life? A successful corporation, or you want to be giving more a giving person, or you want to make like tons of money? It's your decision. I'm not here to judge you, but I'm your consultant. Use me to enhance your corporation. So kids like those words. You tell them, oh, go to public speaking, go to leadership, right? But help.
Yeah, it's about every child comes from a different background. எல்லா குழந்தைகளுக்கும் வந்து ஒரு அப்ரிங்கிங் டிஃப்ரெண்டா இருக்கும், ஃபேமிலி ஹிஸ்டரி டிஃப்ரெண்டா இருக்கும், லைக்ஸ், வாண்ட்ஸ், டிசையர்ஸ், டிஸ்லைக்ஸ் எல்லாம் வேற வேறவா இருக்கும். நாட் எவ்ரிபடி வில் ஃபிட் இன் டு த சேம் மோல்டு இல்லையா? பட் நம்ம பேரண்ட்ஸுக்கு எப்படின்னாக்க எல்லாருமே வந்து யூனோ ஒரு ஐவி லீக் காலேஜுக்கு போனோம், ஐவி லீக் காலேஜ்ல மாஸ்டர்ஸ் பண்ணோம், அப்படியே பெருசா யூனோ கார்பரேட் எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ் ஆகணும், அதே மாதிரி ஒரு ஐடியாலே இருக்காங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ். பட் சில்ட்ரன், நான் பார்க்கறதுல ஐம் சீயிங் a lot of children choosing different fields. There is one child I know who decided that he only wanted to be a chef, right? And he wants to be a Michelin star chef.
That's wonderful.
Right? So அது மாதிரி இன்னொரு child வந்து wants to go into the arts. So இது மாதிரி every child, but the thing is அவங்களோட அவங்களோட விருப்பு வெறுப்பு என்னன்றதை வந்து கண்டுபிடிச்சு அதை புரிஞ்சுண்டு அவளை வந்து ஜென்டலா அந்த துறையில வந்து செலுத்தணும். That is the most important part, and I think that's what you do, right?
Yes, absolutely. So that's my whole tagline for my company, Gifted Gabber, is every child is unique, right? Being put on earth to do perform it, to live, to find out what they've been put on earth, right? So I help them reach their maximum potential, which can be anything, right? இதே மாதிரி ஒரு குக்கி கட்டர் மாதிரி எல்லாரும் ஐடில இருக்கணும், எல்லாரும் கிளவுட் டெக்னாலஜில இருக்கணும், எல்லாரும் 100K பண்ணணும். அதே மாதிரி இருந்தா there is nothing unique about them, right? I know a lot of parents come to me and they say, hey, my daughter wants to go into architecture. Can you please influence her? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But you know what? I don't want her to miss out on, she's not going to miss out anything in life. I myself have a degree in architectural engineering, and I worked in an IT industry, which was not a match at all, right? So that is what I tell parents. You know what? You should be happy your child has an interest in itself, has figured out what they want to do, right? So it doesn't matter. For me, it's like, whatever you decide, be the best at it, right? That is why I have so many assessment tests that I do to help them figure out. There is a multiple intelligence test that I do. There are 8 intelligences. So the major that you pick is based on those intelligence. So children love it when I do that. I have a discovery session for about 2.5 hours. A lot of children complain that it's like drawing blood. But at the end of the session, they are so empowered. They have figured out what is their strength, their weaknesses, this what is their personality and everything. And parents don't need to worry about their children. Let me tell you something. The smartest people have landed in the States. So your children have hit the genetic jackpot, right? They have your brains. So let them be, right? Let them pursue their passion, right? Not everybody has to be in the cookie cutter.
True that. Very true. So typically what do you see? எப்போ வந்து parents உங்களை approach பண்ணி எனக்கு யூனோ காலேஜ் ப்ரெப்புக்கு வந்து என் சைல்டை வந்து என்ரோல் பண்ணணும்னு எப்போ வராங்க? எந்த ஏஜ் குரூப், எந்த கிரேட்ல இருக்கும்போது?
நான் என்ன பண்றேன்னா, நான் எல்லா கிரேட்ஸ்க்கும் நான் கோச்சிங் கொடுப்பேன். I'm independent. I'll just give you a quick background about my qualification, right? I'm an independent educational consultant. Means I give consulting and educational advice to children of all ages. I'm also a positive psychology coach. I work with ADHD kids as well. Then I've done my college counseling from UC Berkeley, right? So that is also there. So what I help parents is basically in all grades, but the college process starts in the 9th grade, right? So 8th grade or anything before that is way too early. But I help parents like help their children strengthen their whole study skills, building their problem solving skills and everything, right? Parents or children, they just focus on math and English, right? But I go in a different direction in the way that you need to build your IQ. You need to build your problem solving, logical reasoning, your working memory, right? Like in the school, they administer a gifted test, right? What is that? That's an IQ test. Right. So it measures so many components. So what I help parents or children in the formative age is to build the foundation for high school, right? So you need to help them be more creative, have more time management, concentration, like problem solving skills. All those are very important. Right. So I offer programs. I created a very unique program, which is like 4 years in the making. It's a critical thinking skills summer program. I had to pick a math teacher to come and create it for me. So it's all puzzles, problem solving, like logical reasoning, word problems, and all that. So what is that doing? right? It's helping train your brain. Like most of the time, I hear parents complaining about children being in the video games. I'll get to that, why they are addicted to that video games and everything. But the thing is, building those thinking skills are very, very foundational and very important in the formative stage. So anybody who comes to me at the 8th grade level, I'm like, please, no, come back to me when you're in the freshman year or in the 9th grade. That's when the clock starts ticking. And even in the 9th grade, I help them develop their study skills, because what happens is elementary in the States is like eating cookies and it's fairly easy. Middle school gets hard. High school, it's a steep incline. It's like a hockey stick, right? So it gets significantly harder, and children don't have any scaffolding, or they have not been taught how to manage course load and study skills in high school. So my focus for the 9th grade is more about your learning style. What is your learning style? There are 4 kinds of learning styles. You're either a visual, auditory, read, write, or a kinesthetic, a fine motor skills. So I help them figure out that in the 9th grade, right? Foundational. And I tell them, go try out everything. Don't just extracurricular activities. Go try out everything. Find out your passion. What is your strength and weakness? That's what 9th grade is about. Okay, of course, you need your grades. And then 10th grade, I have a completely different set, where you sort of start focusing on your grades, your course rigor. A little bit of standardized test is when you start in the 10th grade. In the 11th grade is when you take your PSAT, SAT, ACT, and 12th grade senior year is completely different. So that is how I build my whole program. And it has to align with how the child's development is. And a lot of parents come to me at 9th grade and say, oh, I want my child to prepare for SAT, because they used to that kind of standardized test. Number one, the entrance test எழுதிட்டு college போகணும், அவ்வளவுதான் இல்ல, அந்த மாதிரி mindset. But இங்க வந்து it's completely different. College is extremely complicated. I thought that, oh, I'll go to UC Berkeley, I'll learn everything there, I'll be an expert. Nah. It's a constant learning process. It's like the universities make it a business, right? So you need to be aware of what is the latest trends and everything. And it's really hard to navigate on your own. They make it unnecessarily complicated. There's no uniform. It's deliberate. It's a business, right? College is a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, right?
Of course, yes.
Right. So that's the way I help plan. Is like your destination should not be to land in an Ivy League. Your final destination to be massively successful in life. And Ivies and colleges are a pit stop to take you where it is. So that's how I tell the children. You want to be massively successful in life, you've got to go to a highly selective school or a good school. Follow your passion. In order to do that, you need to do phenomenal in high school. You need to have good standardized test results, grades, and everything, right? So there are so many components and parameters in building a college profile, right? And I personalize it for children. There's no one cookie cutter. It's not like, hey, you need to get this grade, you need to pick this course, you need to have this extracurricular activity, right?
But how do parents or children or high schoolers decide, எனக்கு வந்து ஏசிடி தான் பெட்டர், இல்ல எனக்கு எஸ்ஏடி தான் பெட்டர், எப்படி டிசைட் பண்ணுவா? ஆர் ரேண்டமா தே ஜஸ்ட் சூஸ்?
அப்படி இல்ல, நான் வந்து ஒரு ஷார்ட்கட் அப்ரோச் வச்சிருக்கேன். நான் 2 டெஸ்ட் எடுத்துக்க சொல்வேன். லாட் ஆஃப் பேரண்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்றாங்க, இது வந்து ஒரு குரூப் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் கிடைக்கிறது. எனக்கு யாரோ சொன்னாங்க, இவ எஸ்ஏடி டியூட்டர் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கான், இந்த மாதிரி அவ வந்து குரூப் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் பண்ணிருக்கா, 10 பேர் செலக்ட் ஆனா இந்த பிரைஸ் கொடுப்பா. அந்த மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் ரீசர்ச் ஒரு சயின்டிபிக்கா யோசிக்காம கமிட் பண்ணிடுறோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் என்கிட்ட வந்து விட்டு நான் வந்து அவ டியூட்டர்ஸ் கிட்ட, ஓ ப்ளீஸ் கேன் யூ ஹேவ் ஹிம் டு எஸ்ஏடி. ஓ பட் தி பேரண்ட்ஸ் சைன் only for SAT. I can't. நான் வந்து அவ வீட்டுக்கு போய் ஏசிடி புக் டெலிவர் பண்ணிருக்கேன். சோ இது SAT ACTங்கிறது என்னன்னா, இட்ஸ் லைக் a different kind of a test. SAT is more like a marathon. The test is longer, the problems are harder. ACT is like a sprint. There is less time, the problems are easier, the questions are easier. So I do a shotgun approach. It's like I try everything, okay? And and I pick whichever is the best. And I've seen the trend that my students do exceptionally well in ACT, but then you need the SAT for your PSAT scores, right? So it is like that I approach, and I help them guide. And another thing that I have seen personally with my son and with my students is one-on-one tutoring, right? That is my core foundational philosophy, is that you don't sit in a group class, because you need, again, SAT, ACT, you need to know where your strengths and your weaknesses. Reading comprehension problem, like non-fiction reading comprehension, அது ரொம்ப தலத்திருக்கும். அது ப்ராப்ளமா அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டெய்லர் மேட் டியூட்டரிங் மாதிரி வச்சுட்டானா it's more effective. Right? And it's very, very important to invest in SAT, ACT tutoring, because the PSAT is for the national merit, which is counted only in the 11th grade. And if you make it in PSAT, you get scholarships, and a lot of colleges give you a lot of grants and financial aid and everything. So get the best tutor, right? I have paid $150 an hour for my son's English tutor. But guess what? He made it to the national merit. I got all my money back and scholarship. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஷார்ட் சைட்டடா நம்ம யோசிக்க கூடாது when it comes to college. நீங்க எவ்வளவு போடுறீங்களோ அவ்வளவு உங்களுக்கு அவுட்கம் வரும். And I always believe in getting the best tutors in the planet for my children. For my older son, I had a coach who was in San Diego. Right, I hired a coach in San Diego. We flew to San Diego to meet her because she was transformational, right? So that is the way I look at it. Like I interview tutors and teachers before I hire them, right? And I tell my students, you've got to drive the tutor, not the other way around. Right? And I even speak to the counselors, teachers, and everybody to see the progress, or if there is any specific problem. And I take their feedback and I apply it in my children's plan, right?
Nice.
So
nice.
this is what I do. And also, there's no point preparing for SAT, ACT, like right from the 9th grade. You only need 6 months. 6 months of concentrated study. That is it. Like concentrated, laser focused studies. Just go take the test and boom. And it takes multiple tries to do that. And don't get fixated on just SAT, ACT scores. There are 10, 12, 15 components there. So all those components work together, right? Okay. So I have a lot of webinars that I conduct, but the number one thing that colleges look for is grades. Grades, number one, course rigor, standardized test, essay. Another thing that I see in children is essay. Okay, how all our life we tell our children, don't boast. Okay, don't speak about yourself. No, that's wrong. You should not speak about others. Others should speak about you. And here, you ask them to write a 650-word essay all about themselves and their passion. Boom. How are they going to do that, right? So that is an area that I felt that children needed a lot of guidance, right? So I hired the best essay coach to conduct a boot camp, right? So these are some niche kind of services that I offer, right?
Fantastic. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm just wearing the hat of parents, right? So அவங்களுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் கொஸ்டின் இருக்குமோ அது வந்து I want to ask. And நேர்களே நீங்க கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்க. So if you have any specific questions, now is your time. Please post your questions. Now I'll have Coach Joe answer you directly on air live. So please start posting your questions if you have any. And for those of you who are listening to this in the car, if you're driving, you're listening to Venky on Southern Spice Tamil Radio on Radio Zindagi, and I am with Coach Joe, who helps teenagers, who works with teens in terms of preparing them for life skills. And part of that is also preparing them for college admissions. So அதை பத்தி தான் இப்போ இன்னைக்கு டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். So feel free to post your comments on Facebook or on YouTube, and it will come up live. So yeah, continuing, Joe. So do colleges prefer one to another in terms of SAT or ACT results, or they're kind of even with both?
They don't care whether it's SAT or ACT, right?
Okay.
They don't care. They just need a good score. Like a highly selective school needs about 1550. in SAT, or ACT is 34. And I can tell you, personally, my son struggled to get a good SAT score. He couldn't crack the exam. And he took it like a personal defeat or whatever. He couldn't cross 1480. 1480 is a good score.
Good score.
And you'd never, but he scored 34 in ACT, right? So it depends on the child, right? So I have students who've scored very well in SAT. So my thing is, take both. Don't just figure out. You take both and you see which one you like. Children are very, very smart. The high school students, they know in their gut what works and what doesn't work, right? Yeah, so I have my own set of tutors as well. I have like 4 or 5 tutors who I recommend, or parents get their own. I don't have a problem. But I only tell them that, please let me work with the tutor so that I can put the thing in the study plan, right? Because they need to prepare for their SAT, ACT. And I have some wonderful tutors who have helped my students do that. They're mostly one-on-one, right? And we work on areas that the children need help. Like, you don't boil the ocean, right? So you just see, like, it's so effective if you figure out a test and see what areas you're struggling. Time and again, there will be an area or a specific subject area within the test that you're struggling with. Focus on that, right? So, and I tell my parents this, please ask your SAT, ACT tutor if they have taken the test and what is their score. It's not as a challenge because the trends keep changing, right?
Trends changes,
so
yes.
the tutors need to be familiar with that, right? So this is another trick. Ask them. Yeah,
a tutor can take the SAT and ACT at any point in their life.
Absolutely. I was supposed to take it when I did my college counseling from UC Berkeley. We were supposed to go and take the test. I haven't. I'm too scared. Yeah, you can go and take. But I have sample tests. By the way, I also run a Facebook group, Pioneer Parents, where a lot of parents, counselors, teachers, everybody congregate and ask questions. I have a lot of sample tests as well that I can give it out for free, and you can like check which one kids do. Personally, I like ACT because it has a science section. And the science section is more mathematical, scientific reasoning, right? Which has more graphs, reading graphs, probabilities, statistics, and all that, which children are more comfortable with. But SAT doesn't have a science section, but it has a no calculator math section, which makes it, they can't use the calculator for that section. And that is a little hard, right? And their English is also significantly harder. It is more the undergrad level. The English level is more undergrad level, whereas in ACT it's more 10th grade level, the English.
Nice. So there's this question from a Facebook viewer. So
what can you do as a foundation? 7th to 9th grade. Yes, critical thinking, logical reasoning, problem solving, all those kind of tests, right? IQ level tests. So I have a lot of resources that I share with my Facebook users as well. So I have parents who say, oh, my child can't solve the problem. I'm like, yeah, you should not be solving the problem. The fringe benefit is the fact that you sit for 20 minutes to solve the problem enhances your concentration. So critical thinking, logical. Sorry?
Chess விளையாட வைக்கணும்.
ஆமா போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் இது வேற சொல்லணும் உங்களுக்கு. 5 இயர்ஸ்ல என்ன பண்ணணும், நான் உங்களுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து சொல்லிட்டு போறேன். பிறந்ததுல இருந்து அப்புறம் வந்து 5 இயர்ஸ் 6 இயர்ஸ்ல நிறைய போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் விளையாடணும் குழந்தை. அந்த கனெக்ட் 4னு ஒரு கேம் இருக்கு தெரியுமா, அந்த கலர் yellow ரெட் அதெல்லாம். அப்புறம் செஸ் சொல்லி கொடுத்தா அப்புறம் வந்து நான் ஒரு ஹோல் செட் ஆஃப் போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் வச்சிருக்கேன், லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் that you can buy in Amazon. There is a game called Hoppers, which is like frogs. It's like you solve those puzzles. அப்புறம் என்னன்னா ஒரு fancy Amazon கூட போக வேண்டாம். 5 below used to the owner used to own a bookstore. So அந்த 5 belowல நிறைய puzzle books எல்லாம் இருக்கும். அந்த mazes அந்த word search அதெல்லாம் நிறைய பண்ண வைக்கணும். Okay, in the
puzzles are very good, yeah, for kids.
Absolutely, on the thinking skills, on the concentration, on the working memory, executive functioning la vandu working memory irukku. Working memory is the short term memory. You learned division yesterday, are you able to apply that today? That is the short term memory. So that needs to be very, very sharp. In any IQ test, they're going to test that working memory, right? So that அதை டெவலப் பண்ணணும்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்தே இந்த மாதிரி நான் வந்து என்னோட 2 பசங்களை வந்து பசில்ஸ் பண்ண வைப்பேன். 20 நிமிஷம், only 20 minutes. நீங்க டைமரை வச்சுட்டு கிச்சன் டேபிள்ல உட்கார வைங்க. அந்த டைம்ல அந்த பவ்லோவியன் டாக் மாதிரி they have to come at that time. Okay, they have to come and sit and do that for 20 minutes. And I've seen like significant improvement in my boys' progress. So the older one, he was in the gifted program. I'll explain about the gifted program as well and what it takes, right? So a normal child needs 5 to 8 repetitions to understand a concept, but a gifted child needs 1 to 3 repetition. So their processing speed is extremely high. And how do you develop that processing speed? By like making them think different things, right? So, and I also spoke to gifted teachers in New Jersey when my son was in elementary school and asked them how to develop it. In the மாதிரி games, அப்புறம் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் நான் நிறைய அப்போ வந்து அமேசான்ல இருந்து போர்ட் கேம்ஸ் வாங்கினேன். நிறைய ஒர்க் ஷீட்ஸ் இந்த மாதிரி லைக் சீக்வென்சிங் அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் நிறைய பண்ண வச்சேன் என் குழந்தைகளுக்கு. Okay, and I hear a lot of parents saying, oh, my child doesn't have good writing skills, right? So நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்னா என் பசங்களை வந்து அந்த vocabulary splash cards எல்லாம் நிறைய வச்சிருக்கேன். So like my children have to write a sentence about that specific word. Initially they'll say, I don't know the meaning of this, and then they'll start creatively writing, right? Avala edu vekkano indha madri oru direct avala படிப்பு veru grades andha madri yosikka kudadu, right? You need to like introduce them to different aspects of thing, and of course you need to have some amount of discipline and like a regular schedule, right? You like, as I tell my families that you need to have a device-free time. Like everybody puts down the device.
Very important.
Yeah, you cannot be on WhatsApp. Oh, I'm going to forward this message while my children do homework. Nah, you're going to put away all the devices and make them study on the dining table. Right, so that is something that is very important, right? And also screen time. I tell my children, like especially because of the coronavirus and the virtual learning, I had to teach my students a lot of strategies, right? So cell phone is a distraction, and for this generation, let me explain a little bit about Gen Z. Gen Z is extremely intelligent. They grasp information very quickly, knowledge, and their processing speed is extremely high. And also they get very distracted very easily with the device. It feeds into them, right? But they can't live without device, right? It's just impossible. So this is what I've told my students, is that the cell phone has to be in the charging station during the work day. But you get to check the phone at the beginning of the hour for 5 minutes. Leave your place, go check your phone at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I follow the same thing as well, right? So yes, you need to be in touch, but you designate or you fragment your time and you allocate a time to look at it. But don't keep it around you, because the constant buzzing, it gives you the dopamine effort. Like it's the dopamine that keeps you like so excited and so addicted, right? Dopamine is what you get when you do like drugs or smoke or drink or alcohol. So device is something that is very similar to that, right? And study time. My students have to sign an agreement with me that during their study time, it's device free, right? Okay. Or they say, oh, I'm on my MacBook and I get Discord messages. I'm like, there is a do not disturb option on your MacBook. Please turn it on, right? It's absolutely important. It's simply impossible to concentrate if your phone is dinging, right? And that's true for adults as well. So when I started my business, I felt like I had to constantly answer WhatsApp messages and be on Facebook. But at the end of the week, I was exhausted and least productive, right? So it's the same effect on our adults as well. So this is something that I follow, and all my students, my children also follow.
Yes.
We put the cell phone in the charging station, but we get to go check our phones. At lunch, you get to keep it. After school, I give them designated hours to be on TikTok and whatever that is. They need that Instagram, TikTok. There is time for that. After school, I'm like, no, I want to start my homework. I'm like, no, please don't start your homework after school. You need that break, that mental break. Go hang out with your friends, go TikTok. But that's only that much time that you can do. You do whatever you want, but my study time has to be distraction free. So these are some of the strategies.
Excellent. So coming to, we're already in the last 20 minutes of the show, but parents would have this very important question in terms of lot of students get a full ride. இந்த ஃபுல் ரைட் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து கொஞ்சம் குவாலிஃபை பண்ண முடியுமா? ஏன்னா யாருக்குமே புரியல. அது ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு இது மாதிரி நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
ஓகே, அந்த மாதிரி ஓகே, ஃபுல் ரைடுங்கிறது ஒரு லாட்டரி டிக்கெட்ல எப்படி உங்களுக்கு நீங்க அந்த சூப்பர் பவர் பால்ல ஜெயிக்கிறீங்களோ அந்த மாதிரி தான் ஃபுல் ரைட். ஓகே, so it is fictional. It's like how many people have gone to Stanford? I mean, I'm just kidding, because my son thinks that Stanford is fictional. The thing is, full ride it's extremely hard to get. Okay, and your stars need to be aligned. That's what I tell them, right? So, and also it's your financial background, right? Need based இருந்ததுன்னா உங்க இன்கம் வந்து ஒரு சில lower level இருந்ததுன்னா நீங்க qualify பண்ணலாம். Okay, and also especially if you are Hispanic or African American, like you have a better chance of getting there, right? So the full ride is almost like 1% or like 0.5% in the Ivies, but in tier 2 schools there are a much better chance of getting it, right? And also there are many ways to augment the merit-based scholarships kuda nariya irukku. Okay, and a lot of people ask me in that, and I tell them that if you come to me, I'm going to help you look for scholarships, right? And you win one scholarship, it pretty much covers my fee. Right? So, but the thing is, local scholarships is where you need to look at, right? So within your school, there are a lot of endowments and a lot of donations that are there. And let me tell you something, counselor is your best friend in the high school. He is the key. The counselor and the principal have the key to opening up the tijori or your treasure chest, which is scholarships.
Okay.
Local scholarships are where you need to keep aware of. Okay, so you will find out everything if your school uses a tool called Navians la ellam paakalam. So on the local scholarships, and nariya scholarships on the madri chinna da nariya irukum, $1,000 and idu adukella essay edum purichida. Ada biggest problem. Parents come to me and he said, oh, எனக்கு scholarship win பண்ண பையன் எப்படி பையனா பொண்ணோ essay writing எப்படி அது தெரியாது. So that's why the foundational thing that I have as a boot camp on essay is to write a really personal, unique essay about it, right? So on the madri, you have to keep regurgitating, churning out essays after essays for winning scholarships, right? So full ride is something that a university offers, and it's in a very, very rare case, right? So even my son didn't get full ride. He was a national merit valedictorian and everything, but he won a lot of local scholarships within his school. And also another place where you can save money in college is taking AP courses and college level courses. Right? So you can easily you can easily shave off 1 year in college, right? So a lot of my students and my son graduated with 20 APs, so he skipped 1 full year in Georgia Tech, which saved me like 55 grand, right? So that is another area. That is how I help build their profile. Colleges look for rigor, course rigor, grades and everything. And like that is how you be smart, right?
Well,
It's only 95. Yeah, it's only $95 to take the test, AP test in high school, and you will save $5,000 when you go outside, right? AP
beautiful.
chemistry, physics, math. There is so much that is offered in most of the school districts, like maximize on that, right? So again, it goes back to having good study skills. Yes, you can take AP, but they are a totally different league. They're like college courses in high school, right? So in order to survive in them, you need to have good time management, planning, prioritization, focus, drive, everything to survive in high school, right? So it's a very huge responsibility that is out there, right? To not just survive high school, but ace high school.
Ipo, one of the questions is high school முடிச்சிட்டு when you're going into college for your undergrad, அதுக்கு வந்து Ivy League is not really necessary. It's just an overkill. Masters பண்ணும்போது Ivy League போனா போதும், கரெக்டா? So just tell our parents a little about that, please.
Okay, sure. Let me tell you one thing. Ivies. Okay, let me start all over. College in the States is not for imparting education. College in the States is for networking. Okay, so why do you go to an Ivy League? So that you can network, you can get better opportunities to have a better future, right? So the way I counsel kids is, if they are in the pre-med or the medicinal track, and there is accelerated medical program, right? So basically, the best school is $450,000, right? Do you really want to go to Ivy? It's a prestige, right? பேர் சொல்லிக்கிறதுக்கு நல்லா இருக்கு இல்லையா? Or you can do undergrad in pre-med undergrad. It's no point going to an Ivy, right? Go to an average school and get the best GPA, good MCAT score, extracurriculars. When you go to your MD or your actual medical program, go to a good school. So that is the philosophy that I follow for a pre-med, right? If undergrad and sonnaninga, these Ivies, they open the door for you, but at what cost, right? For example, Johns Hopkins is like 79 grand.
Yes.
50,000, right? Duke
is NYU 75,000
a year.
A year.
Yeah, Duke is about 69 or 70. So my son said, "Mom, I don't want to go to Duke. I'll go to Georgia Tech. It's like practically half the fee, and I get double the education, right?" So he decided to do that. Duke-la வந்து அவனுக்கு scholarship கிடைச்சிருக்கும், which would have brought it down to like 50% of that. But still, right? So that is sort of a decision that you make, right? So based on you just don't say out loud. I mean, you just don't make your decision, oh, Ivy League is bad for you. No, apply them. And when you get admitted, or you look at the financials and the EFC and everything, like get down and work it out. What is the financial aid you're getting? What are the opportunities there? There is an opportunity factor also that you need to consider when you go to Ivies, right? Like internships, right? Right from first year, second year, you get good internships and placements. So you do recover, right? So it's an Ivy League is like an investment, right? So what are you going to do in life? You're going to go into consulting. Ivies, they always look for Ivies, right? Duke is number one when it comes to consulting, right? So it's different for different fields, right? So அந்த மாதிரி, or you want to pursue lawனா நீங்க வந்து அந்த masters பண்ணும்போது நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி, you do it in a very good Ivy, like Harvard or Yale or undergrad வந்து அந்த மாதிரி. So அந்த மாதிரி decision எடுக்கணும். So that is what I spent most of my time. This is what I learned in UC Berkeley. I had to prepare so many college reports, right? That was our assignment, college reports and everything. So I work with my students to build a college list. So it's a very balanced college list, right? And it looks good when a child gets into an IB, right? It gives them the bragging right. Why should we deny that, right? Whether you take it or not, you've gotten admitted, right? So I have a very balanced college list that I do. There is Reaches, which is the colleges with less than 10% acceptance rate. Then we have the matches, the safeties, and everything. So it's well blended, right? And also you apply for the FAFSA, you see your financial situation to see whether you can really afford. You look at the numbers, right? Financial merit-based financial aid and the madri, like, and also like what is your income, right? Like if it's like 100 or 100 less than 120,000, then you qualify for certain certain aid. If it's over 200, then you get nothing. There is merit-based things as well. So it's a complicated answer, right? So there's no right or wrong. You cannot just say that IVs are bad or good. It depends on the situation and where you are in life and what you want to do, right?
Okay. Now, just two more points before we wrap. We have just a few more minutes left. High school இருக்கும்போது பசங்க வந்து சம்மர் ப்ரோக்ராம்க்கு ஏதாவது காலேஜஸ்க்கு அனுப்புறது, not only within the US, internationally, is that useful? That is number one. And the follow-up question to that I had was, I'm blanking out, but why don't you start answering the first part and then we'll come to you the next one.
Okay, so summer program is a good thing to test waters. Okay, so I have a student who has decided she wants to go into fashion, but I'm a little concerned because she's not expressing or she does not have, I'm not judging, but she's just taking it on a whim because it looks glamorous and sexy, but we really don't know if she can survive there. So I spoke to the parents, and she's going to Albright College for a fashion designing, merchandising summer course. So that helps you with the major, whether you want to stick with it or not. Adanala summer programs are very important. And also my student, her dream is to go to Yale. So she's doing a course there in Yale to see if she really likes that culture or not. Okay. And another example is my own son. He had decided that UPenn's management and technology program is it for him. Okay, so he got into the summer program, and when he went there, he hated it. He's like, I like the management part of it, but the technology is not good, right? So he did not apply early decision to that college. So it gives you an idea about it, right? Instead of making a $70,000 or a $50,000 mistake.
Nice.
But those summer camps are not cheap either. I paid $7,000 for the management and technologies. But it was well worth it, right? Because he said he just didn't like it, which was good, right? So it is. I always tell them, like, just go and try it out. Right?
Now, do these summer programs that they do they help in the college application? Do colleges like that they've gone and done some summer program at so-and-so college?
See, you don't know the college admission process, so we really don't know. But strategically, I would say yes, because the UPenn management and technology program, the kids who've gone there, it's again a very rigorous program to get into as such, right? So about 40 to 50% of those children got into the program. So yes, it's good to be in the system, but you never know the basis on which they select. So I would say 50% chance.
No.
Okay, there's a rumor that says that if you're in the Johns Hopkins gifted program, you have a better chance of getting into Johns Hopkins. We don't know that, but my son got in, right? He was in the Center for Talented Youth. He won the honors award and everything, and he did get into Johns Hopkins. He didn't go, right? So there is some truth to it. 50.
Fantastic. All right, so I think so far whatever you've shared with us, சொன்ன விஷயம் எல்லாமே வந்து most parents would find it extremely useful. ரொம்ப உபயோகரமா இருக்கும். Now, if if there are people who are watching this on the West Coast, for example,
Yeah.
can they still, come to you to coach their children?
Absolutely. Anybody in the West Coast, California wants to go to UC. We know that, right? So absolutely. I have students from all over the country. My summer programs, they are all timed in such a way that people from the West Coast can join. And I do have students from the West Coast, and my business is growing, and I'm hiring counselors who are based on the West Coast. So college admission is all over, right? It's
Right.
it's US, right? So yeah, and I know how the Californians think, and I know UCs are so important for them. And it's a completely different application process and everything. So we cater to people all over the United States.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's not restricted only to the Pennsylvania, New Jersey region. Fantastic. So how do people reach out to you? Where do they find you? And can you also share some of your
Yeah.
contact information?
Yes. So my website is Gifted Gabber, GIFTED Gabber, GABBER. That is my website, and also on Facebook. Can I chat them somewhere, or how's that?
Yeah, you could put it on private chat, and I'll try to put it up over here if possible. I don't think it's possible, but yeah, no, this application doesn't permit it.
Okay, so it's Gifted Gabber,
Yeah.
or Pioneer Parents.
Mhm.
Pioneer Parents on Facebook. If they just search for that group, I run the group. It is about 2,600 people.
Okay.
Giftedgabber.com is my website, or Jothsna. I mean, if they just Google me or check
I'm
out,
sure they'll be able to find you. Yeah.
yeah, LinkedIn anyway.
All
Any
right.
question you have. Yeah, I'm like, any question you have. There's nothing like a stupid question. You're
Sure.
a parent and you have all the right to ask any questions.
The only stupid question is the question that you did not ask.
Exactly. So my Facebook forum is open to anybody who can ask questions. I share a lot of information and value. Got it?
Beautiful.
Yeah. I want to empower parents. The more knowledgeable you are, you're driven. You care about your child. So there is no shame in that. Be unapologetically ambitious for your child. Right? I have a lot of parents who come to me, oh my God, I'm so ambitious. Am I pushing my child too much? I'm like, if you don't push your child, is your neighbor going to come push your child? So please.
All right. Joe, it was such a pleasure having you on the show. எனக்கு வந்து இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப ஒன்றும் பேச வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லை because you had so much to communicate. So I'm so glad. And it's not enough. I think parents in the show வந்து லைவா பார்த்ததை விட recorded version பார்க்க போறவங்க தான் நிறைய பார்க்க போறாங்க, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions that will keep coming, and I hope we'll be able to address and answer all of those, and maybe do another continue part 2 of this show to answer some of the questions that come up after people watch the show. So thank you so much for taking your time. இன்னைக்கு join பண்ணதுக்கு ரொம்ப 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 நன்றி, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Venky, and thanks for the opportunity and your non-profit Punarjanmam and the wonderful things that you do. I always tell people that Venky is the glue or the connector who gets people. If you need anything, you just go to Venky. Venky is like, I have a question. Just go to Venky. Okay, he will connect you to somebody. So that's who he is. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Really appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
Take care. Yeah.
Sure. Bye.
Bye. All right, நேயர்களே, that brings us to the end of today's Southern Spice. இன்னைக்கு Southern Spice நிகழ்ச்சி உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப இன்ஃபர்மேட்டிவா இருந்திருக்கும் நான் நம்புறேன். On that note, one more time, punarjanam.org, punarjanm.org is the website. We are planning a donor appreciation dinner with music and stand-up comedy coming up on June 25th, right here in New Jersey in South Brunswick. So only the people who have so far donated to Punarjanmam will be invited for that. So still not too late if you want to come and meet some of our early stage investors or donors, and meet and greet everybody and see what kind of work Punajanmam has been doing on the ground in India. எவ்வளோ lives காப்பாத்திருக்கோம் அப்படின்றத வந்து ஷோகேஸ் பண்ண போறோம். So, stay tuned for that, and thank you. Next week's Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. One more time, I'll come to you with another very special guest. Till then, taking leave, your host Venky. Bye-bye. Take care. Be safe.